Everybody who gets hired on at a theme park goes through a time of training and orientation. If I could, these are some of the things that I would say in that orientation time. Orientation at your brand new job at a theme park. It's going to be fun. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be a day of learning about the company's culture and traditions. Yes, that's what Disney even calls theirs. All about what you're going to be doing and what it's like. It's exciting. This is going to be so cool. And then you get out in the park and reality hits. There are some wonderful things about working at theme parks and some not so much. If I could have a little bit of a role in that orientation time, or even beforehand, there are some things that I would definitely want to share with the brand new employees. Welcome to the wonderful world of theme parks. It's a world like no other, where nothing is real and everything is. And when the reality hits the fantasy, well, sometimes it's wonderful and other times it's a little messy, let's just say. This can be one of the best jobs you will ever have, or it could be one of the worst. And a lot of it depends upon the person who's doing the job. If you're going to work at a theme park, these are some things to keep in mind. And if you've got others you'd like to add, I would love to hear them as well. Don't forget the comments. The very first thing I want you to know is you are about to step into a big play, a huge dramatic production. Think of it as a living movie or TV series, if you will. And you have a role to play in making this fantasy world, this fantasy realm, come to life. Yes, you are a bit of an actor, so is everybody around you, so are the guests even. And for me, that's actually one of the most wonderful things about theme parks, is you get to take this whole realm that is out of the ordinary, out of the normal, and you get to make it come to life for everybody that's in it. I love how Disney puts this in their traditions classes. You are an actor, you have a role to play, and you are a cast member. At Silver Dollar City, you're a citizen in the city, to let you know that you're not just an employee, but there is more to it. That you take on this persona of being an actual person in this realm, in this city, in this fantasy world, whatever it may be. Even if the park isn't very heavily themed, you're still an actor in it. And the idea is to help people escape reality, forget the world outside, and enter into this place that doesn't really exist, except really in many ways in our minds. So we use a lot of dramatic terms. We have a role to play as cast members. When we're out where the guests, the customers, can see us, we're on stage. If we're not where they can see us, well then we're backstage or off stage. We don't wear uniforms, we wear costumes. And it helps make this whole thing come to life. So the first thing I would tell you is have fun with this. You don't even necessarily have to be totally yourself. Although if you want to be the most effective, you really should be part of yourself at least. But enjoy this opportunity to kind of stretch your acting limits a little bit. And there's times that that's going to come in real handy when it isn't quite so much fun. And remember, your customers, they're also part of this big drama. It's part of the reason that they're not just customers, but they're guests. You have invited them into this realm that really, we are a part of the hosting of it. They're coming into our home, and the idea is to give them as good a time as possible to let them have fun. Just like if you brought somebody into your home, you would want them to be happy when they left, that they had a good time, that they were blessed when they were there. You don't bring guests into your home and then treat them like trash, unless that's actually part of the idea of it, in which case they're still happy. You want them to be able to have the most fun possible, and our job is to help make that happen. As part of that too, every company is going to have their lists of priorities, the things that they put first, second, third, the things they want you to remember above all else when dealing with the guests. For Disney, it's called the Keys to the Kingdom, and there's 4 of them. Silver Dollar City's list is very similar. Every park and company has their own list. Oftentimes they'll sum it up in a little slogan. Again, looking at Disney's 4 Keys to the Kingdom. It's safety first, courtesy, show, and then efficiency. and they're all meant to bring a focus to what our overall job is. The number one thing at any theme park, anywhere in the world, at least it should be, is safety. Safety is never, ever compromised. If you've got an interview question or a manager's asking you about something that, hey, here's the safe condition, or unsafe condition, or possibly safe condition, what do? Always go for safety first. Always, 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 always. Never compromise safety. I don't care how sweet that customer is or how belligerent they are. I don't care if they're a family member. Never compromise safety. And then after that is going to be courtesy. Be nice, be friendly, be kind to them. Don't be a jerk about safety unless you absolutely have to. Like when that guy won't move out of the way of the horse on the middle of Main Street that's about to run him down, even after you've talked to him and told him and gently asked him to move and then yelled at him. At that point, safety overrides. Save the guest first, deal with being nice later. But if you can be nice before you get to that part, hey, even better. Then help preserve everything, help everybody remember that they're in this fantasy world. And then efficiency. That's when you worry about the pinching pennies and stuff like that. At least in a well-run theme park. Some of them get those things in the wrong order, and then it's not as good an experience either for the employees or the people coming in the park. But safety should always be number one. So in everything else that we do and talk about, don't forget safety. Weather. Weather can be good, but most of the time the weather stinks. This is one of the things about working outside. It's summer. For the most part, the theme parks are open in summer and a little bit other seasons. Well, what's summer? It's hot, it's humid, it's sticky, it's gross. Depending upon where you are, it rains. In Florida, it's torrential rain almost every day. When you're outside, and you're probably going to be working outside, okay, the weather just sucks, so let's be honest. Maybe you're at a park that's open year-round. Well, then you get the opposite extreme. Oh, good, it's cold. I get to freeze and wear coats and gloves and 3 pairs of socks and 2 pairs of pants. And I've been on the back of a train at Silver Dollar City when it was 18 degrees outside, riding that loop. It was stinking cold. The weather doesn't tend to make it nice. Although, you do tend to really appreciate those really nice days you get in between. Listen to your leaders and coworkers. They're going to give you tips and tricks to survive the weather. Hot weather, hydrate, drink water, lots of water. In fact, Disney World actually requires its cast members who are outside to carry water bottles with them and to fill them up and drink them. You should actually go through one of these little water bottles they give you about once every hour. That's how much you need to drink. Yeah, you'll sweat most of it out. On top of the weather, you then get your costumes. And in most places, the costumes, they look cool, they're awesome, they're wonderful for acting in, but they're not comfortable, and they just accent the really hot weather. Silver Dollar City, it's long sleeves, high collars. You'll find that at a lot of other parks as well. Not only are they these big, huge, heavy, bulky things, but then it's polyester. Why do parks use polyester? No polyester! Get rid of it! You're going to end up with this costume that's probably not real comfortable. Use it to help you get in your role. Even if you are at, say, Six Flags and your costume consists of a polo shirt and khaki pants, it's still part of your role. It's still a reminder that you are not just Joe Blow walking around the park, but you're somebody different, that you have a role to play. Let that help you get in the mood. This was actually one of the things I loved about acting in plays in high school and college, was putting that costume on and becoming somebody else for a while. Help it let you get in the mood to be able to remember this world and help people become part of it. And know that you represent that as well. Honestly, I love wearing costumes. Didn't like how they felt a lot of times, but hey, at least it wasn't like when I did Shakespeare in college and I had to wear these really tight netting-like things, and they would grab the leg hairs and you don't want to hear about that anyways. And the guests. The guests are the best part and the worst part of the job. Yes, both. My favorite memories of working in the parks are the guests I got to meet. The ones I got to joke around with. The ones I got to take a bad moment and turn it into an awesome moment. The kids that I got to make smile. And here's a key for you. If you want to win a family over, if you want to make good with mom and dad and grandparents, win those kids. If you're not good with kids, learn to be good with them. Because when you get the kids happy, when you make them excited, you've won over the parents and the grandparents and everybody else. Those kids are the key. And of course, I love working with kids anyway, so that helps. But the more you can do with the kids and win them over, the more you're going to win everybody over. Making guests happy is the best part of the job. And what you will find is you work on making guests happy, that they're going to bless you back. When you see a guest have this incredibly magic moment that they can't have anywhere else, it makes your day. When you can do something special for somebody just as a normal part of your job, it's going to make your day. Those times when they remember to thank you, oh, that's really going to make your day. One of my favorite parts about the jobs was just talking to the guests. If I was at the train at Silver Dollar City, while we were standing there waiting around for the next train to come in, I would talk and chat with the guests and play with the kids. I learned a couple magic tricks and being able to just interact with them. At Rhino Rally, half the job was talking to the guests and interacting in the ride. My whole job as a photographer was talking with the guests and then watching these amazing things. When you see somebody walk into a park, and especially a kid, they experience something brand new and just, it's amazing. But at the same time, the guests can be the worst ones. When they come in a bad mood or something bad has happened and set them off and they're angry and they're upset, yeah, guess who's going to be their target? You are! Isn't that wonderful? And sometimes it's completely irrational. Sometimes they're just a jerk. A lot of times a guest just wants somebody to hear them and let them vent a little bit. So put a smile on your face, grimace a bit, and let them steam. And just getting it out and having somebody to hear will make them in a better mood. It's amazing how well that works. And then if you can do something to fix the problem, great. Sometimes you can turn a guest's bad day into a fantastic one. And then everybody's happy. That'll make your week. Sometimes they're just a jerk. And then the good news is they'll be gone in a few minutes and you'll never see them again. Yes, that's nice. But I actually built friendships with some of my regular guests. Yeah, I have guests who would come on a regular basis at Disney and at Silver Dollar City that I actually know outside of work on a personal basis as friends now because of that time in the park. It may happen to you, it may not, but it's cool when it does. One other thing to remember, it is still a job. I see a lot of people, especially young people, that go, I get to go work at the park. I'm going to ride rides all day, every day, and I'm going to play, and I'm going to have all this fun. And it's still a job. And just like any other job, there is work to be done. The hours are long. In this case, the pay is low. It's usually barely above minimum wage. I mentioned the costumes and the weather. You're going to have bad leaders and bad managers sometimes. People who've never done the job you're doing and yet they're in charge of you and they're utterly clueless. It happens. You're going to have jerks on your co-working team. It happens. It's like any other job in life in that regard. So be prepared for it. You're not going to get to go ride rides all day. You have work to do. You have to keep the guests safe. You have to take care of them. And it can be long days in miserable conditions. But you can take those miserable conditions and sometimes the miserable people and you can turn them into a bonus. Every single one of my jobs, I had a manager I didn't like. Well, not Silver Dollar City. We all got along great there. At Disney, there were a couple managers I didn't like. There were a couple co-workers at Busch Gardens I didn't like. I didn't have to be with them all the time. I had other times I would go off and I'd be doing my thing and I could ignore them. It's a good skill to learn anyways. You're not going to see these people all the time and be stuck side by side for the most part. You can work around it. Find ways to make it fun. Find ways to be creative. Interact with the guests. Interact with your coworkers. Build friendships and relationships. Learn constantly. Don't be afraid to learn something new because the more you learn, the more helpful you'll be. Learn a new ride. Learn a new position. Learn a new job entirely. You'll find that the more valuable you are to the company, the more they're going to want to use you, the more variety they're going to give you, and that's a great way to move up in the company too if you're thinking about that. Never forget it's a job, but at the same time, you can make it so much more than just a job. If all it is to you is just a job and you're just going to work, you're probably in the wrong business. If you're just going through the motions to collect a paycheck, it's going to reveal itself to the guests that are coming through and to your other coworkers, and at that point, it's time to start finding other work that you're going to be more interested in doing. And that actually leads me to my last point. It's not for everybody. Sometimes you get stuck in a bad position. Sometimes you get stuck in a bad role. Sometimes you get stuck with a bad team. Sometimes it's just a group you can't work with. Or sometimes it's not something that you just enjoy. It happens. Theme park work isn't for everybody. Not every role in the theme park is for everybody. There are different spots, different niches, different personalities. And if where you're at isn't working, it's okay. Work through it. Try to get into a different spot. And if it doesn't work and you realize, you know what, I just hate this, move on. Without being upset, without being mean, without making the people around you miserable. Nobody wants to be around a miserable person. Move on. Ask for a transfer to a different place. Ask for a transfer to a different department. Or if you just plain need to leave the company and go someplace else, that's okay. Don't let your miserableness transfer to everybody else and make it worse for you. That's not going to help. Do your best until you can transfer out. And sometimes it means having to put a smile on when you really want to hit somebody upside the nose. Don't hit them upside the nose. That's not going to help anything. But the more that you do the best you can, the better of a report you're going to get from your coworkers and your managers, and the easier it's going to be to move someplace else. And if you just get in there and 2 weeks into it, you're going, man, this sucks. I hate it. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Say thank you very much, put in your notice, finish your time, and go find something that fits you better. Some people, getting a job at a theme park is a bit of an eye-opening experience and not quite what they expected. So have you worked at a theme park? If you have, what would you tell new employees and cast members? Are you thinking about working at a theme park and want to know more? Don't hesitate to ask me your questions below. I can either answer them or I might even put them in another video. What else would you like to know? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, give the video a like, hit that share button. You got people that want to know about working at a theme park? Well, share it with them and then they can see. Be sure to check the description too. There's a ton of information there about fan sites and merchandise and equipment I use and things like that. I want to also give a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. Their financial support helps me to improve my equipment and to do things I couldn't possibly do otherwise. And they get a lot of perks and reward for it as well. If you want to know more about that, be sure to check the description or the links at the end. I also want to give a huge shout out to Tom's Road Trippin' for signing on as a brand new patron. Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate it. Thank you as well for watching. God bless. I don't care if they are your brothers. And if you got a grumpy parent, hey, get a happy child and you'll be able to help turn grumpy parent to something else as the phone rings. Really? Spam call. It's a church! Go away! Hopefully they don't leave a voicemail. You want to please everybody. Well, you don't necessarily want to please everybody. It's going to show itself to the cusps, whatever that is. But don't let your misery. They help me improve, yeah. Oh my goodness, I got this totally goofed up. Okay, let's try this whole thing again. Their financial support helps me to do so much and things that I couldn't possibly accomplish otherwise. What is that? If you'd like to know about my merchandise, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you'd like to know whenever I've got a new video posted, well, make sure you hit that button right up there and subscribe. If you'd like to watch another one of my videos, I've got a great one for you right here. And if you'd like to be like these wonderful people here and support me financially on Patreon, well, make sure you check the link right there. There's even some extra perks for them. Thank you so much and God bless.